Hello everybody, welcome to Midwest Imagery. We've been learning about the exposure triangle, metering for exposure, setting the camera's exposure controls for proper exposure. We've been learning how to control the depth of field, and today I'm going to show you a little exercise that will show you how your meters can be fooled. And what we're going to do is set up a piece of black foam core and a piece of white foam core. Okay, here's my black foam core set up. You notice I got it right close to my camera. It's probably maybe a couple feet away, so that when I'm looking through my viewfinder, all I'm seeing through there is this black foam core right here, because that's what I want the camera to meter on. Okay, here's the white foam core set up. All we're doing is putting it close enough, or else we're moving our camera close enough so that all we see through our viewfinder is white. And since we're looking at a black piece of foam core, your camera won't focus automatically on it. It won't find any real contrast to lock onto. The same thing with the white one. So we're going to turn our autofocus off. Just remember to turn it right back on when we're done with this exercise. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of blurry pictures. Ask me how I know. Our focus is turned off. We're looking at setting our exposure. So the first one I like to look at is our ISO. And for this exercise, it can be at 100. And that's where I'm going to put mine. ISO 100, the aperture really doesn't matter here either. Let's say 5.6. And the reason that these two settings aren't going to matter here is because when we dial in our shutter speed for indicated, it might be a long exposure, and we're going to be hand holding it, but we don't care if it's blurry for this picture or not, because we're only going to be seeing black or white. Now we go ahead and meter on our black piece of foam core and spin our shutter dial until our meter shows that we're indicated, and then make the first exposure. I'll wait. What? That one's not black either? It looks more gray? Put the white foam core up, do the very same thing. The only thing that we'll have to change here is our shutter speed, because of course this will be brighter and you'll have to change your shutter speed. And then you make that exposure and take a look at that. What's that? It doesn't look white? Well, I tell you what, our camera is working perfectly. It's doing just exactly what it was designed to do. Our camera sees in middle gray, 18% gray. So what it tries to do is average all of the light in a scene to a middle gray. And it just showed us that it's doing its job perfectly. We see a white piece of foam core that's gray in a photograph, and we see a black piece of foam core that's gray in the photograph. So what's happening and how we can correct that is, in the case of the white foam core, our camera's meter is looking at this and saying, whoa, that's way too bright. I have to tone that down to get it to middle gray, which it did perfectly. So it's up to us to figure out if our camera has underexposed this piece of white foam core picture. How do we get it to look white? That's right, we have to overexpose it. So we're going to dial in an overexposure. Let's start with one stop overexposure and see what that looks like. Now that's not gray, but it's not white either. We can do better. Let's dial in another stop. So now we're at 2 stops of overexposure. Let's see what that looks like. and that's better. Let's try for 3. Three stops is pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see what 4 stops does. Now, many of your meters might only go to 2 stops of overexposure and underexposure, but that doesn't mean we can't go past that. So if your meter shows 2 stops, then you know that 3 clicks of your dial is a full stop. So let's go ahead and click it to 4 stops and see what that does for us. Now 4 stops looks pretty good on my camera, and that's generally how it is with the white foam core. Now with the black foam core, the camera's meter is looking at this and saying, oh, whoa, 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 that is way too dark, so I have to brighten it up. And it did a great job of it because that black foam core looks great. How do we get our gray black foam core to look black again? Since the meter has overexposed it, we just have to underexpose it. So dial in your exposure till it shows indicated and go 1 stop under exposure. See what that looks like. Yeah, it's still kind of gray. So let's dial in 2 stops of underexposure using your shutter speed. Now we're 2 stops underexposed, and make that shot. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We'll call that good. And that's an easy exercise to show us how our camera can be fooled and how we can correct for that. Because there are times when we want to disregard what our meter's saying and underexpose or overexpose, such as sunrises or sunsets. We generally like to have those a little bit underexposed. Okay, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.